Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Many Parallels. We're your hosts, Trevor and Zach, joined here today again by...
Dan, the man.
Mr. DP.
The whole effing show.
The whole effing show. So last episode, I warned him ahead of time that, hey, this isn't going to be going out right away, so know that your statements aren't going to be completely relevant or whatever. So try to plan for that, and then he comes to me, oh, well, this isn't all real, we gotta do another one. So here's the other one. So, but we'll also be getting more into who this man is as a person, because I don't know about you, but personally, when it comes to artists, I like to know more about who they are as a person, not just, you know, their views on music and all that shit, which is kind of what we were doing with the last one, but your views on life as a whole. So
and who doesn't like talking about shit that they like, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything you want to get off the docket right out the gate about any fucking shit you said in the last one may be correct, or should we just get into some of the questions and shit?
I got nothing.
Got nothing?
I got nothing to go back on.
Okay.
Fucking... I don't know.
Alright, so I guess my first question here is, what is your favorite art format, whether it be as a consumer or a creator, that isn't music? Because obviously, you know, all music this and music that.
I'm a music man.
Yeah, so...
I mean, lately, games. I've been playing a bunch of games, but I feel like I'm making up time because I never really played a lot of video games as a kid. Like, you were a gamer, Jesse was a gamer, I was just music.
Yeah.
Now I got this rig over here to my right. I've been gaming.
So... What you been playing, and why is it that you like these games? You got a reason for it?
Tony Hawk, you know, that's an OG. I love Tony Hawk.
You play on the computer?
Yeah, I play Thug Pro. It's like a modded version of Tony Hawk Underground 2. You play online with people.
I love that about PC, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it modded everything.
Yeah, that's why I got the PC. It's fire.
I feel
and
that.
I spent a little extra on the hardware so I can, spend a little less on the games, if you can catch what I'm saying. Freaking... That Starfield's been a constant since it came out. I've been trying to not overwhelm myself with it.
Yeah.
Dude at work, the new guy at work has been telling me about that game too.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, I just started. Well, I didn't just start actually.
I'm like, you probably got way.
I
double my time.
Started my second playthrough, and I just
your
finished.
Second playthrough.
So normally, how I play like Skyrim and shit, is I'd make a character to roleplay, and I wouldn't really do the main quest. I would just do side quest shit. So I made a character, and I was kind of going like that, and I was like, wait, I just need to beat the main story. So I beeline through it, which isn't how you should play Bethesda games, honestly. Yeah. But I beeline through like the main story after doing a side quest, and then I made a new character, did a side quest, kind of like one of the faction things, because it's like, this is what my character would do, kind of shit. And so like my playthroughs are just kind of going through side content and being... role-playing with this.
I think that I'm 15 or 16 hours into playing the game. I have done 2 main story missions.
Dude, honestly, isn't that many main story missions. The bulk of the game is the fucking side shit, but that's... I don't know, like Skyrim had a lot of fucking main story missions, but... I don't know. I also like that Starfield isn't like, there's dragons and the world's gonna end and Alduin's gonna fucking... the world leader. It's just like, yeah, there's some cool artifacts around. It's not a... do or die, so it's not like I have to break my immersion to be like, oh, my character doesn't give a fuck about finding artifacts. Really, I want to go be a space cowboy. I'm gonna go be a space cowboy.
See, that's why everybody always compares it to like Skyrim or Fallout. I did not play them enough to have that frame of reference at all, so it's like a fresh experience for me. Honestly, what it reminds me most of, just like I said, I barely played games growing up. It reminds me of like in Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm gonna see it was
because it's just like a role playing and choosing which like your character is gonna be good or evil, and like you just it's pretty similar to that.
I really appreciate that Starfield has the option to be a dick, because Fallout 4 did not really have that. It was just yes or yes phrased differently with everything. Good guy. All the factions were different colors of good guy. You can make the argument for the Institute, but not really. I feel like they kind of took the criticism from Fallout 4 and 76 to a lesser extent to make Starfield, and I would honestly just say it's a perfected version of Fallout 4 in space and different
Was
universe.
there a lot of hype about the game before it came out, or not? You don't know.
Yeah, it's like Xbox's like new main IP instead of Halo.
Yeah, 'cause
they're gonna.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it's like their first major exclusive after buying all these new companies because they're buying everything. And it's also Bethesda's first new IP that isn't Elder Scrolls or Fallout in, I don't know how many fucking years, but a lot of fucking years.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fuck yeah, we'll see what it turns into and shit, right? Like, you still gotta get through it, really.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, you gotta get through it.
I've been like reading about No Man's Sky too, and it's like another.
dude, so
And I want to play that now.
I
'Cause
played
I like
No
how
Man's-
you can fly out the planets.
dude, I like
instead
the
of the
flying
cutscene.
shit of No Man's Sky, but the planetary shit was, I fucking hate
When
it.
did you play it? Because I heard it was like I played it back in the day, but I heard it had like a bunch of updates
I've
and new
downloaded
DLC
it
and stuff.
multiple different times throughout the years of it being updated.
How long did you play? Because I watched a video on it and dude said that tutorial's like an hour, and then once you get out of that,
I've
you're
gotten
like-
through the tutorial and gotten to like the space shit, and then it's like my ship runs out of fuel, and then I go down to the planet shit, and that's boring. I wish Starfield had that kind of literally taking your ship and going through the
Yeah.
atmosphere, and that more not everything's hit by a load screen, because I like flying around. It's not as good as it is in No Man's Sky. Like flying in No Man's Sky
Everything's
is a lot
so
better.
far in freaking Starfield, you can't even like get close to the planet. It looks like it's like approaching, and you're just flying forever. I
Yeah.
just fast travel everywhere. In most games, I like to like.
You have to. You can't
Yeah,
just fly.
yeah, I
shit
know.
and
In
stuff.
in most games, I like to like try to use that feature as less as possible until I get 30 hours in, and I'm sick of walking around the map. But-
Right. Once you've seen everything a million times.
Yeah.
But like, no, I totally agree, and I wish that it had. Yeah, it's getting dark.
Get a little dark in here.
I wish it had a bit more to do with the ship shit, because, dude, I've spent at least like fucking 5 hours in my gameplay. I'll just sit in the spaceship creator making cool ships, and half the time I don't have the money or the ability to actually use the ship.
Yeah.
But it's just fun.
I've never
Just,
even used that yet, other than to paint my ship.
That was like the biggest problem I had of going to start a new place. Was I spent so much time making two dope ass ships.
Yeah, I don't
I had a sick ass fighter, and I had like my cargo ship, and I had dope names for them both. I don't remember the second one, but I know my primary ship was the Exalted Salvation, and
I just got the one they gave me, and that was that.
yeah, fucking, and you get some from other like quests and shit too, but I also didn't know you can fucking pirate and just steal other people's ships and go register them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's crazy, because I
have-
ran across some wild ships I probably could have just stolen.
Yeah, you have to have like targeting systems to target their engine and shit. Like my pirate playthrough, I didn't even fucking know that because I wanted to go in blind.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I watched, I was like, fuck, I wish I was doing that the whole time. So, games. What else about Starfield? Because I know you like Minecraft a lot. Do you do any of the base building in Starfield? Is it the exploration you like about it?
I didn't even know you could do base building.
You didn't know that?
Opened my mind to something.
Yeah, you go to whatever fucking planet, you go settle, and you can mine resources and build bases and shit.
News to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do it either, but
I just like doing the stories.
story shit.
Yeah.
Fucking. You got any?
How you feel about like PvP type of games or?
Hate 'em.
Okay,
I
not
suck
into
at
that.
them. I
All
suck.
right.
So not
That's
the
like
best.
the dude I work with.
Yeah.
He just that's his type of shit too. Like more of the story type of
Yeah,
game.
I just like story single player. Like I just 100%ed all of Spider-Man remastered and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
DLC.
Yeah.
That was fire.
Spider-Man 2's coming out
Everyone's
soon.
like, oh, I hate the combat. It's like, it's because you didn't use the gadgets, bro. Once you get good with the gadgets, the combat's fire.
Dude, even without the gadget, it's like, I don't know. I don't need this super dope combat. As long as the combat
Spider-Man.
isn't. Yeah, you're Spider-Man. You're doing backflips.
It's a movie you get to play, bro. It's
Exactly,
lit.
but like the
Yeah,
story
right,
and shit
right.
of that too is sick as fuck. Like, okay, going back and playing like Fallout 3 or honestly even New Vegas, the gunplay in New Vegas is kind of fucking absolute horse shit.
Yeah.
But the story and all that you're able to do, I love that about the game.
I've been
and not
playing a bunch
shit.
of like older games, dude, and like I feel like PS2 is literally the best era of
Yeah, like
games for
peak and
creativity.
shit, yeah.
Even though like the physics on some of them suck, like you go play like the car physics, it feels like you're turning nothing. Like it's just so easy now compared to what we're playing, but it's so good. Like me and bro were playing blitzed the league last night, and it was the most geeked up football game I've ever played, dude. You could like take roids and get juiced up, and like they got the cheerleaders when you're picking your plays, they're like bending over and they're in thongs and
It's
shit.
all just like
And
explicit.
it's like
and
super
shit.
explicit. It's like got rap songs that are super explicit.
Fuck
It's just
yeah.
like what a time, bro.
Right.
So I
like-
mean, in that respect, it's like, yeah, our fucking society's become a bit too coddled, but that's a whole other conversation. I feel like games were a lot better back then, though, because they didn't take as much money and as much time to develop. Because now
it's-
people are like, oh, I need these realistic graphics and all
Yeah.
that.
everything's so much
And then you need
grand and shit.
They use these supercomputers to build them, and then you need a
Right.
supercomputer to play them, and it's just like getting more and
Yeah.
more expensive and taking more time. And then there's the argument online where if a game's not like in depth enough, people that's not worth $70.
Yeah, it's gotta be at least 8 hours or
Bro,
fucking campaign.
like I love AEW, you know, wrestling.
Yeah.
And the AEW game, it's like a throwback to N64 style games. And the whole Reddit community is just people bitching. This should have been $40. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I make the money to buy that game in a few hours. I've had more than that much fun with it.
Honestly,
It's like a dying game. Like the DLC's taking forever. There's no announcements on the season pass coming out, and it's like I'm over it. I haven't played it anymore. I'm not pissed about spending the money on it. It's more of like a couch co-op. Like if us three sat here and played it when we're done filming, that's lit. It's not a game you sit and play by yourself, really.
Mm-hmm.
fucking honestly, you saying that to me back when we worked together and shit, I don't know, it made me less cynical, because I was a bit like that. Like I wanted a game that I could spend a lot of time in, or else I wasn't going to spend money until it was on sale, just because, well, I mean, I'm used to being broke as fuck, honestly.
Yeah.
But like when you said like, oh, as long as I got, I worked 5 hours to make the amount of money. If I got 5 hours of enjoyment of this game, even if the story wasn't fucking 5 hours, if I was just fucking diddling around in a corner, fucking looking at some dumb shit,
It was worth it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll have it the rest of my life, and I can dive back into it if I want to.
Right.
People are like, oh, not like in the digital thing, because you gotta rely on their infrastructure, bro. Microsoft's not shutting down for our lifetime. Steam's not, Valve, they're not shutting down for our lifetime. All my game licenses are gonna be there. I get like some of the, like Tony Hawk and the games they take them down because the music license. That's why games don't have cool soundtracks anymore.
Yeah, which is another thing of like, it's cool that games have become this higher medium, but it sucks because you can't have just some random fucking two devs in a basement making some dope. I mean, you kind of.
That's
do
where a
now,
lot of
but,
PC
like,
games thrive. Like,
Yeah, I
it's just
know, and
dudes,
that's-
yeah.
But for console gamers, because like I have PC, can't really run crazy shit, but it's like.
I think that developers or like publishers, they need to come up with some contract where it's like, if you're putting songs on the game, they're baked in for good. Pay them some flat rate or something, and some residuals on
Well,
top.
how is it working that, like
Like-
how are they retracting it?
Like okay, so say like, you know how on the new Xboxes they have backwards compatible games.
Yep.
You can't play the old Grand Theft Auto, like the original versions, or you can't play the Tony Hawk games because they have songs that are licensed, and if they were still allowing that game to be played, they'd have to pay out the musicians.
More money.
I'm pretty sure even
Yeah.
GTA 5.
That's why like
being
Jet
alive-
Set Radio Future
Oh,
never got
Because it's
redone.
like they cut off the royalties because they're like, this is a dead game.
Yeah.
But now that the game's given new life,
and people can
it's
play
like,
it again. That's why you can't buy them anywhere. But I feel like if you
That is
own the
weird,
disc,
bro.
they should allow you to play it on your
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure GTA 5 even had some updates where they've had to remove music.
They
because
have,
of
yeah.
things. Yeah, which is fucked. But speaking of Jet Set
That's
Radio,
wild. A live game having
Right.
to remove
Yeah,
songs.
yeah.
especially a game that makes so much money as GTA 5 does. Like, with how much, dude, fuck. Put my song in there for free. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, that's getting you publicity.
Literally,
like,
put my song
so
in
many
there for
people do that
free.
shit. But fuck, I don't have my computer. But have you heard of the spiritual successor of Jet Set Radio that came out recently?
I beat it already.
You already beat
I
the
beat it
spiritual
like the
successor?
weekend
What is
it
it
came
called?
out. What is it? Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. It's gas,
It's
bro.
gas.
You can skate, a blade, or bike. And like the system's a little bit different, but that was like my favorite game
Yeah.
growing up. Dude, it's so fire.
I just fucking the song, the on the street, that shit is forever baked into my skull because of you always playing that.
But overall, moral of the story, bro.
I have that game soundtrack saved on my Apple Music playlist. That shit's fire, bro.
Fucking console gaming is like, not like the peak has been long gone. It's all about PC, bro.
Yeah.
There's still great games that come around, but it's just developers aren't as willing to take risks because there's so much more money that goes into games now, so they need to make their financiers happy, and then they need to be like, oh, this sells.
See, you just gotta say fuck them all.
I
I
agree.
pirate the new games. Fuck them. I play old PS2. There's a program called Parsec where essentially I could like share my computer screen with you guys, so I cast, and then your controllers just connect to my computer, and we can play like PS2, GameCube, all these games. So like me and my buddy Enrique, we'll just sit here and play old PS2 games. You can even play single player games and set it up so both controllers control it, and we'll just swap off doing missions and stuff.
Hell yeah.
I just play old games. There's a huge library of PlayStation 2 games. Imagine being a kid, bro, at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or whatever, thinking one day I'm just gonna have all of these games on my computer for free.
Right.
Like that's insane, bro.
Yeah,
Technology's
yeah.
crazy. So
And you got like the ability to like take yourself back to that, like, and think about that is
Yeah.
like super sick, bro. Like I think about that shit too. Like collecting cards and shit. It's like, dude, when I was young, if I would have been able to have these, like, damn.
Hell yeah,
like,
dude.
it's
Yeah,
like
I'd be
that.
getting Legos, and it's still just like I couldn't have it as a kid, so it's dope to have it. And building some of them too, because I just put them up for display. I'm like, damn, dude, I wish they had this much shit when I was a kid. Cause like I got the ATTE and all the things lift, and there's all these
Yeah.
compartments inside. I'm like, man. And not only could I not, mom and dad wouldn't be buying me that shit, but
Right.
Sometimes
we're
when
not
I-
intricate, bro.
sometimes when I see like the prices of toys that I wanted when I was a kid, I get fucking mad. I'm like, broke ass parents. It's not even expensive. Bro couldn't give me like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Disc back in the day.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
these motherfuckers are
All my
worth $1 grand
homies
and
that I
shit.
played Yu-Gi-Oh! It had the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Disc, and I never got it, bro. I was stopped playing on the
Yeah.
mat, sad ass kid.
Bro, I was making my own cardboard dual disc.
That's
I swear,
fire,
bro. Like
that's
you,
fire.
you put a little like cut toilet paper roll as the fucking wrist thing, bro. I swear to God, some ghetto
Snap.
shit. I swear, like, cause your mom and dad were not buying you that shit.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
Yeah, I had some spoiled ass friends. That's why.
Right. No, I felt that, bro. I was thieving back then.
I was stealing cards, bro, all the
Yeah.
time from like Dunham's. I remember one
yeah.
time they had cards at Dunham's, and I was in the back corner opening them up, and I heard over the like PA system, "Hey kid in the back corner, we see you. Leave now, or the cops are on the way." I just dropped the cards and dipped out the store. That shit was funny as hell.
Hell yeah, it's like from retail or from fucking random kids that were trading. Bro.
I was
finessing.
I was thieving all the time when I was a little kid, bro.
I had to get all 5 pieces of that Exodia. You know what I'm saying? Bro?
Oh, yeah.
Like it was over.
No, one of my friends stole my whole deck box with all my good cards in it.
What?
I stopped playing after that. I
Yeah.
stopped fucking with dude because he moved away. He probably had this like plotted, bro.
Fuck.
Dude moved to another city. He plotted that shit.
Yeah, I'll just say I need that USB-C if we're gonna plug this shit in.
That's
I
the
don't wanna
fucking
die.
horror story of like
USB-C
any.
for what?
For my phone, so the camera don't die. Forgot to plug that in before we got
Okay.
going. Y'all keep talking though.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's the horror story of any card player right there. Like getting your whole deck box or whatever finessed, like that'll make you literally quit. Like
For
that never
real.
happened to me, but yeah.
Wasn't
like,
it didn't you have I remember you having like a shoebox, was it that or
No, it was like a deck box, like an actual.
smaller type of deck box? Yeah. Fuck yeah.
plug this camera in, hopefully don't shake too much for the viewers. But did you used to dual Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, Zach?
Yeah, like, you know, I was the one that was trying to like be by the book of it, but everybody else was kind of like at that level of like playground rules, you know, like let's make it how the anime made it and shit, which is very unrealistic. Yeah. But
I think that's kind of how I played
it's
unrealistic
fun.
as hell.
It's
Because
very fun.
once I got older, I realized like the rules were way like I played realistic though with my older brother Jesse and like my
Okay.
cousins, but when I would just play with my friends, they were definitely playing wrong as hell.
Yeah. Like for sure, there's a lot of that going on when you're young. Like probably sub like I don't know 12, 13. You're like you're playing off of how they did in the anime, which is like like certain like you're just not following the rules and shit essentially. You
not
know?
sacrificing things.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff like that. Yeah, because I
Having
remember
fun.
once I got into high school and there was like a group of kids that played and they had enough decks where sometimes we'd go kick it because like my group was the stoners and they smoked too, so we'd go kick it with them sometimes, and they would freaking have decks for us. And dude was like trying to teach me how to play, and I was like, dude, I did not do any of this when I was in school.
I think I was talking to fucking Enrique, and he was saying some shit about how like Pokemon's played because, like when I used to play the card game back when I was like 8, we didn't
The energies. And
we played like
none
the
of that
DS
shit.
game. So when we played with the cards, it was just I'm gonna do this
Oh,
attack.
yeah.
And we have one out at a time
Literally.
out of the 6. We just played it like it was.
That's
the
more fun.
game.
See, that's what.
Yeah.
That's what. Before we were recording, we were talking about like the meta of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe that was in the conversation. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. That
But,
was before.
Like the innocence of being a kid and just picking shit up and just whatever comes to you.
Yeah.
That's what's fun. Like
It's like
instead of,
like world building.
you're not doing it
Yeah.
right. Stop.
Yeah. Or being super heady about it,
Yeah.
like in your head, like meta, whatever. No, you don't got
But to some people that's fun because like
Yep, it is.
okay,
It is.
for instance, I was talking about D&D. I like that because of the freedom, and I had to kind of adapt the way when I was DMing because I wanted to make it fun for the players because I like going super in depth, kind of like immersive story, but they like to shoot dragons in the dick with arrows and dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
So they just like to fuck around a bit more, and it's a good time.
Right.
And so it's like you gotta adapt for that. But I love that D&D gives you that freedom.
was
I
like-
wish more card games.
It was
did.
like depending on the mood too. Like 1 week we'd be really serious, and then the
Yeah.
next week we'd like doing some dumb shit.
Right. And that was fun. And
yeah.
I like that games like D&D allow you that freedom. I wish Magic and other card games could have that, but I don't know how to fucking
Well,
make
it's
it.
just about like you gotta make that happen. Like people talk about that in Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. Like they don't have a format for this, or they don't curate a different type of thing for what we want to do out of the game. Well, like get a couple fucking buddies and do it your fucking self, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the best that you can do, because you can't expect the company to fucking cater to you. So we just gotta. It's like channeling that like childlike type of mentality, like you were just describing, where whatever comes to you with the thing, and then just have fun with the fucking shit, right?
So enjoy yourselves and don't
take
you're
it
doing
too
this
literal.
wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one thing that sucks too about like card games and shit. Of like there has to be some kind of rule to agree upon if you're playing against people.
Right.
That's another reason I like D&D is because you play as a team, and you can just kind of, this rule's gay. I'm gonna do that.
I feel like too, like if you do know the meta and you're with a bunch of people who are playing and don't care, don't be that dickhead that's like, no guys,
Yeah.
we're not playing right. Just like
Don't impose,
leave that in
impose
and
all
go
that.
be mad about it when you go home, but have fun with your friends because they're all gonna talk shit about you after you leave.
Right.
You need to learn the balance of it and how to kind of incorporate. Because as I was saying, some people that's why the thing is fun.
Yeah.
To them.
Right.
It's fun because I want like some people are more analytical with things, and I want to know, what's best, and that's figuring that out and using that is what's fun. So you want to try to do that, but it's like if they're not, if your homies aren't going by the rules, figure out what rules they are going by, and try to find a meta for that, if you will. And figuring it out, that should be, I would think at least, I would fulfill that fun. I'm not one of the meta-ass people, so.
The problem is that when people are like, like they want to be a part of the main thing, and then when the meta is the main thing and it feels like too like complicated or expensive or whatever, then people like they want to be a part of a community that feels like validated and shit. You know what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
people are tribal fucking creatures. We want to be part of a community.
So like the idea of doing what I kind of described of like taking the power into your own hands, they don't really like feel that, because they feel like there is no power to it. But like there is, bro. It's just you don't have to like feel validated in whatever hobby you're doing by whoever makes the fucking hobby, like the distributor of such, You just make of it whatever the fuck you want. Same thing with playing the game. Like you literally said, you played that shit like a certain type of way to get through it, and now you're gonna play it the intended way or whatever.
Yeah,
Just make of it what you want, bro. Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like too with cards. Okay, it's we talked about in the last episode with how fucking music with like guitar has just become guitar nerds trying to please each other. It's because that kind of becomes popular for a small bit, and then the mainstream is like the wider population casuals are like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that, so they all eventually go away. So then it becomes such a smaller community that to branch out of that sphere is going against all of that. So it's like, well, I want to be part of this community, but you got to be willing to take that risk of fuck it, I'll do it myself, and people will come because, well, I like it. There's got to be other people that feel like me, either in this community or not in this community, that'll be like, oh, I like what he's doing.
Right,
but
agreed.
People don't want to take that risk because it seems so small already, and you just...
Yeah. Like, you just got to know you're doing something good for, a good reason and shit like that. Like, maybe a bigger reason and shit, but... You don't even have to know that.
I mean,
you just
for your own fun and enjoyment, if it's more fun for you, I think that's a big reason.
Right.
Yeah, fucking cards, bro.
It's just, I mean, it's an interesting thing, bro. Like, fucking sports cards. I haven't gotten, like, into it in terms of picking any up or anything, but, like, sports cards are huge and shit. Like, I started following a couple channels, and they're, like... They go to these conventions every week that are like, people are literally just trading tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fucking graded fucking sports cards, bro. And I'm like, damn, like, the value that is being pumped into these shits is just like crazy, bro. Like, I don't know, like...
They're inflating the value themselves.
Well, yeah, like, it's a whole convention full of people pumping each other's fucking stocks and shit, you know? That's what they're really doing, and that's what the card market in general kind of is, but, like, I don't know, it's just, like, it's amazing, bro, that's all my point is that, like, it's pretty fucking amazing that, like, they're as relevant as they are cards, bro. It's just cardboard, shiny cardboard.
There's probably, like, countries that their currency is less valuable than Pokemon cards.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing memes for a while of like the Russian ruble became it was worth less than a fucking Roebuck.
Yeah, I don't know the truth behind this one, but I remember like Enrique telling me he used to play RuneScape with this dude who would just grind all day because the GP in RuneScape was worth more than his country's currency.
He told me that.
So he would sell the GP on eBay to people to make American money, which because was like way more than what, I don't know what country dude was from.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's insane, dude. Imagine grinding on RuneScape as your job. He's literally making money in RuneScape to have money in real life. Like, that's insane, dude.
Right.
Yeah, moral of the story right there, fucking secondary markets go fucking bananas, dude.
Yeah.
Cards, games, like
it's just
accounts for shit.
Electronics.
It's so weird that fucking cards have become a market because it's they was just like, oh, here's some fucking game for you to get together and kind of fulfill some of your nerdy needs, and now it's like stonks.
It was like we were talking about this maybe like, I don't know, a few episodes ago and shit. Like, it's very interesting that like modern hype shit might not have the same value long term, pretty much, or likely won't.
Oh yeah, I use the example of fucking Star Wars. So when George Lucas first made Star Wars, have I told you the story about the toys? Okay, when George Lucas first made Star Wars, at that time, movie tie-in toys, they weren't worth fucking shit. So he could not get any fucking company to make toys for Star Wars. And then when Star Wars New Hope, before it was New Hope, when it came out, they did not have enough toys to sell. They were literally, you'd sell cardboard vouchers of the character. So it's like, you come back when we have the toys in stock with the voucher and you get your character.
Right.
And so after that, come the prequels, where they were like, oh, well, fucking Star Wars toys sold shit tons. So the companies made a fucking bunch.
They overprint.
They overproduce them. But then the consumers were like, oh, the same thing's going to happen. And then look at these old Star Wars toys. They're worth so much money now. So they went out and bought a bunch of them, but there was so much
So
fucking
many.
supply, it
they
didn't
never
matter.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's like the same logic with like modern trading cards. Is like essentially the only thing gating you from the rare shiny thing is how much like artificial scarcity the company themselves put
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
product.
Well, there's that, but
I saw,
also
like, an
you can't
article
predict future demand.
About like companies throwing stuff away. Like someone found like 11 pallets of Magic cards in the
God
dump, but like
damn.
Funko,
to control the market.
like Funko Pop
yeah.
just threw away like millions of dollars worth of Funkos because they can't move them anymore.
Exactly,
and shit
because
like that.
Funkos are like a dead collectible,
Yeah.
like, quote unquote. But like, the thing is like I don't know. It's just collectibles in general are speculative. Modern collectibles are like super speculative because you gotta think about what you just described about like the over manufacturing, the over printing because of the hype that's going on, the bubble.
Yeah.
And like pretty much anytime the Fed prints money, you know, and like saves the economy, stimulates the economy, whatever, like that's another like bunch of money that's gonna hype up whatever modern shiny shit is coming out. And like it's not necessarily a bad thing because like you can make a bunch of money off of this stuff, you know, but like I don't know, is it gonna hold long term? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you
'cause
think
you're
like,
just-
like Beanie Babies.
Yeah,
That
I was
a
gonna
big
say
fad.
Funko Pops were the modern day Beanie
Yeah.
Babies, if you will.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, they were
But-
huge, and then just nah.
Right.
the-
It's
I-
very niche.
It's weird because there's people who get into collecting because it's like, oh, this is gonna be worth money. Whereas I assume these AEW figures you have, you don't collect those because they're gonna be worth money. You collect them because they're cool.
I fucks with the Young Bucks and I fucks with Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You collect them because they're fucking cool.
Yeah. I'm a
that,
nerd, bro.
That is why you should collect.
But-
Once sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once a large majority of people get into this thing to start collecting it because it's going to be worth money, well then there's more shit in circulation that's
Yeah.
so then there's more prestige, there's more supply, which means less demand.
Mm-hmm. Like, what are those things Zach's got? Those stuffed animals. That's like a big fad right now. The Squishmallows.
Yeah, Squishmallows.
That's like a
Oh,
big thing.
yeah.
Those are corny as hell.
Fuck yeah. Boy, he collects them.
Yeah, grown ass man. That's my boy, man. He'll carry him in his car with him and shit. I'm like,
Roasting him, bro.
I picked him up.
I roast him
again.
to his face with them.
That's
So
funny
it's
as
all
fuck.
good. He's not gonna watch this anyways.
I remember when we had
Fuck that.
something at work, I like hit him up because we had like Pikachu ones or whatever, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that's it. That's what I would call super speculative. If you're gonna hoard those and think that like,
I don't even
in
think
10
he's trying to make money off it. He's just a wolf.
he likes them and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like you said. That's where it starts. Is you gotta like the thing first. But if you get into collectibles or whatever and you like them, and then you see that you could like monetize what you're into, then by all means, fucking
Yeah.
do that.
I'd
shit.
say
Like,
collect things, but like have it with the idea of like, oh, I got this, and even if it's not worth money one day, it's still worth something to me, and I
Yeah.
won't, if it's worth a bunch, sure,
Pretty much, if
Maybe
I'm
one
buying
day,
a
but-
collectible, I'm looking at it like I'm not gonna sell this.
yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I've come across stuff for free that'll be like money one day, like
Mhm.
bobbleheads going to Bucks games and
Mhm.
shit, but
But
nothing I'm
also-
buying really.
It also depends too, like at the dollar amount that you're spending. Because if you're spending like I don't know, 1,200 or like a lot of fucking money, 2,500, then you're gonna want to know if that's like just some hype inflated secondary prices
Mhm.
that you're overpaying for currently, or like it could come down.
People
or,
are tripping spending that much money
Yeah.
on
on
collectibles.
shit.
Yeah.
I was just telling him, bro.
That's
like there's a
great.
new
Practical
Dark
use.
Magician like metal card that released. It's like plated with like real silver.
That's dope.
It's cool, bro.
Money,
is
though.
it $1,300
or whatever Post Malone paid for that ring card, bro?
Oh,
that's dope.
I think it was
It was like 1 of 1. That's why,
Bro.
but it was like a couple 20 mil or 2 mil or
2
something.
mil, like 2.4
2 point,
mil.
yeah.
Fuck.
Crazy. That's dope.
Because
He can do it.
you know,
Yes,
Yeah.
he
you
can,
know,
but
you know, it's so like weird. It's like I don't know what to call it. Like it's just like a real example, I guess, apparently, of like that $2 million is not like that's not how many Magic boxes worth it takes to get the thing. That's just some arbitrary number that was thrown out there like
Yeah.
randomly, and then he negotiated with the guy based upon this like random number.
Yeah.
And
Changed
then
that guy's life. He probably could have gave him way less money, bro. Honestly.
And
Honestly, Post,
he was willing to do it.
Post got all that money, and he's one of those dudes where like he'll just fucking. I don't know. Everything I see of him, he is a nerd. He gets
He actually
super
plays Magic.
Yeah.
Like he's got.
He randomly
got his
on
own
YouTube-
card.
On YouTube, it's like like he has like all.
He
these
does all
videos,
that
but-
shit, but he'll collab with like gun tubers I watch and shit randomly too.
Oh,
like he's into like a bunch of different
Yeah,
shit. He's just
for sure.
Yeah, dude's
Yeah.
cool. He's
Yeah.
like my age.
He's a regular
We're
dude.
chilling.
yeah, he's a good example of though, fucking, like if you're gonna put money into a thing and buy cool shit, do it because you like it and you
Yeah.
want to, not because it's gonna be worth something.
Some brand deal.
Yeah,
Or,
don't buy it to be the
making
seller of the
money.
dude who sold that
Like,
card to
okay.
Post.
Yeah.
You like for me, I kind of have like two like streams of thought, like personal collection and then like what you could call like I don't know inventory or whatever, like investment, you know, like.
But even that dude that sold the card to Post, did you see the video? Because he was
No,
saying
I didn't even-
he was like, well, obviously I'd love to keep the card, but this is gonna change my life. Like
Yeah.
he actually
Yeah.
played. He wasn't just like a scout, like a card
Yeah.
salesman or nothing.
Okay, yeah.
He was just like, bro, I'd love to keep the shit, but $2 million. Right.
Right.
I would have
Like-
taken 20 grand. So I'd have taken
Right.
10 grand for it. You know,
Yeah.
that'd have set me off.
So interesting.
That'd have helped me
bro.
out.
Like.
Right, fucking A.
What's crazy too is like, okay, in cards and specifically, I mean it can be anything, any collectible is like a reprinting or a remake of the thing. Like, what if they make another like One Ring, bro? Like that would just destroy the value
Yeah.
of that shit.
Another One Ring to rule them all? Like, what do you
Right.
mean One Ring? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the card is. Yeah, it's like a collab with Lord of the Rings. It's
Oh.
the One Ring.
Oh, I thought you were being metaphorical, comparing it to Lord of the Rings.
No, that's literally what the card is.
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't fucking know.
Yeah.
I had not
Yeah.
heard of, like, I roughly heard Dude paid a bunch for
Yeah, there was
that
a
it.
Lord of the Rings collab with Magic, and they made just one
One
ring.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
But
that's
that-
dope.
So it's just one of one card.
The,
That's why
the,
it's
the
so
thing
much.
is that the first rendition of said thing will probably always hold.
Bro's gotta get a
more
video of
value.
him throwing that shit in a volcano.
That would be fucking sick, bro.
That
Yeah.
shit.
Bro, he'd be the type to do it too.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
right.
low key.
For a
That'd be
music
gas.
video, like in a helicopter, yeah.
No,
He's got
a
a
video of him
full-
hiking, bro.
Yeah,
Through the
full like cosplay.
shit. Right, fucking it. Hiking through the shit. Fucking 3 music videos.
They gotta
they're
have
all
someone
filmed at
feature in
once.
the song, and they gotta be Lil Dude, whatever the fuck his name is.
Lil- Yeah. Smeagol, the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have the feature be that thing crawling around.
Hell yeah, bro. But nah, yeah, like I don't know, collectibles just crazy, bro. Like it's all interesting. I like it though. Like I like the idea of being able to look at the market and think about, you know, what in your opinion is going to hold value, and then what is up in the air and shit. Like it's just like fun for me to be into.
Yeah. Teach their own hobby with shit.
Right. Yeah.
If I felt like, if you thought I was coming at you about car, I didn't know you're into it like that. I'm just explaining shit from my point of view as.
No, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I think a lot of it is like bullshit hype. But
Yeah.
like, if you, like, it's weird because if you think that like people are not like people are overpaying for something, but then you're like willing to let them overpay for something, I don't know. It's like, are you contributing to something that's bad, or are you just
Enjoying
making
consuming
use
things.
making use of the consumerism that exists before you, like, because technically they're not overpaying anything if it's what the market
Yeah.
price of it is, right? Yeah. It's
Yeah, I wonder that.
weird.
Bringing it back all the way to fucking games. Like, okay, when Cyberpunk launched, yeah, sure, it was buggy or whatever the fuck. I liked the game, like, you know, whatever. But then I'm like, oh, am I setting a bad precedent? Because I agree, games shouldn't launch as a buggy ass mess, but
Right.
I still enjoyed the fucking thing. So it's a weird, you know,
They
dichotomy
should
of things.
launch as a buggy thing, but the whole price thing, I think games are undervalued, bro. You know how much money they spend on making those?
Yeah.
And then like all the employees they gotta pay. I don't know if that's counted into the budget, but like
Yeah.
that shit's wild.
Yeah, that's why
I know what you
games,
mean. You're right.
and because of that, and to make games people want to buy, it's like there's so much money that goes into it. That's why games have become a bit more samey because this works.
Yeah.
They can't do crazy fucking shit they could do back in the day because there wasn't
Some
as much
developers just need to say fuck it and start putting out some PS2 games.
You need to just take that risk, bro, because, like, yeah, there's...
I feel like lately there has been more bigger games getting out that are,
There has
like,
been a bit, but-
huge. Like Tunic was kind of...
Tunic fuck, but I feel like...
I guess not huge, but
Yeah,
a
other
little
than,
bigger.
like, gamers, I haven't heard nobody say shit about Tunic, but Tunic was a great fucking game. Like, I want to replay it, but you can't, because I love the way that game did it. There's no fucking tutorials. You figure everything out.
Yeah.
I don't know how far you got to it,
I never finished
if you
it,
discovered the Great Cross at all.
I don't remember.
You could literally, if you knew that from the start, I don't want to spoil shit.
Yeah.
If you ever plan on going back, because if you know that from the start, well, you could just breeze through the game. But like, I don't know. It's this thing that when you figure it out, it's like holy fuck, the game opens up so much more, and it's like it goes brazy.
Okay.
I love that shit. Fucking A. I did not expect us to talk about cards and games off of the first thing for like an hour, damn near.
Really?
And I think it was like 45 minutes or so. But
It'll
fucking
happen.
It'll happen.
Wait, you
That's
asked one question, right?
one question about games, and then that went into cards, and then that just.
That's what we
Spiral.
do.
But that was the goal, because I only had 2 questions.
That'll do.
And the next one, I don't know if you'll necessarily have as much say about it. But-
Because I don't need to fill up another out.
Yeah. But we talk about it a fair bit on our channel, so I figure I might as well say something for if people are getting into our shit. What is, I guess, where do you stand on faith? What do you believe?
Where do I believe? I've just like.
And what are your principles if you have any?
Yeah.
Had
And what do you
list?
base them on? Is it on a god or is it on something else?
That's deep for me. That's deep for me, bro. You know what I do? I just chill.
Ah, yeah.
Science.
The
I believe
religion
in
of chill.
Evolution. I don't believe in any ghosts or spirits or souls or any of that shit.
Wait,
Are you open to the idea if you...
No.
No? You're
I mean, I'm not like a
there's
dick
no
about it.
ghosts?
Like, I'm not gonna be like, you're fake and shit. But like,
Wait,
I've never experienced
spirits or
any
souls?
ghosts. No, none of that's real. I just think, I mean, like my opinion, none of that's real. Like, just like science, bro. I don't know. Evolution.
What do you base
So
the
we're just like
concept
a-
of no soul on? What scientific evidence? Because there's nothing proving or disproving it
Yeah,
necessarily.
there's
so,
nothing proving it. It's
but
just
there's
like
nothing disproving it either. So
So we're just like a product.
It's just a
of,
thought. I don't know.
Uh,
It's a bunch of mumbo
We're just
jumbo.
a product of like
We're a flesh
random,
suit on some
random
freaking
electricity
mushy
like
stuff. Yeah.
coming together and shit.
Bro, this computer, this phone filming us, the microphone, it came from rocks, bro. Like what? I don't know. It's just science. I don't question it. I live my life chilling. I don't like to get worked up on any of
Wait,
that.
wait,
kind
wait.
of
It's not about
Wait, you
all
don't
that
believe
stuff,
you
but-
don't believe in aliens, right?
I believe in aliens. Yeah.
Fucking
That's
A.
perfectly explainable. But there's no way that just this planet's freaking like is in the perfect spot. Like
so
I doubt there's any life in our solar system or anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like there's no way there's not something out there. I also don't believe everybody thinks, oh, aliens, they're super scientifically advanced. There's probably some dumbass caveman ass
definitely.
aliens out there. There's probably some fish aliens. Like they're not.
yeah, not all of them are sentient. no.
Yeah.
I
I doubt there's like galactic wars happening out there, but like I think there's other life forms out
So,
there for sure.
to relate that to the argument of the soul, you say, you believe there's aliens. Are you open to the idea that there's not? Because we haven't seen any. There's no proof
Yeah.
proving one way or the other. So
There's no-
to the idea of the soul.
Bro.
There's no idea proving one way or the other. So
I
would you
just-
say it's a 99% chance there's not, but there's still that 0.1?
No,
whatever?
I'd say
No.
scientifically speaking, it makes way more sense that there is like aliens.
No, I'm talking about soul.
I don't think you have a soul. I think that's like part of your brain. That's a concept in your brain that you think of your morals and
agree,
like the
but
way it's all.
But everything.
It's all
is.
things that you've, as
Everything
you've
is.
grown and you've learned different things. It's just like the way you've processed it. I don't know. It's just all within your brain.
I'm not asking necessarily like if you believe, but is like the 1% chance, because there's nothing saying necessarily scientifically that there isn't. science leads to the idea that there's not, but there's no definitive proof that there isn't. So
what about it?
So I'm
I don't
asking
think there
if
is.
yeah, but I don't know, to say anything definitively one or the other has always kind of been against the way I try to look at shit, because you can never say for certain, and that's
exactly
scientific.
what I mean by I just like to be chill. I'm definitive and I don't give a shit. Like, I don't want to sit here and think philosophically on whether or not there could be a soul. I don't give a fuck. I want to chill and play Tony Hawk, bro. I want to play my guitar.
But
I want to go hang out.
Your will to do anything is like, that's your soul, bro. Like, that's your soul. Like, you could just be a soulless motherfucker. Like, there are people that are like that, where their soul
And that's all a mental state. A soul is a thing, but it's in your head. It's like your soul and your morals and your mentality and your values. That's all just different words for the same thing, essentially.
I think, like, the way I would put it is, like, you're, like, having a good mental alignment or whatever. You need to have
you need to have a soul.
You need to have a good soul.
But I don't think a soul is like a state or like a thing. Like, it's just the same thing as your morals or your values. Or
I mean, I've always kind of looked at it as whatever you want to equate it to. A soul is just another word for, you know, the electrical impulses in your brain, if that's how you want to compare it to whatever it is that is consciousness. Whether it's you know, that, or it's a ghost inside.
No, I think like a soul is like when you have an opportunity and you're saying, should I do this, and you're weighing out all your reasons why or why not. It's just like the choice you make. It's like, as I said 3-4 times, it's your values, your morals.
So how do you go about dictating that exactly?
It's like your conscience, bro.
I feel like that's one thing that's become a problem in, you know, this modern secular society of not having a way to dictate morals, because for the longest time people have done it with religion. So how do you personally dictate your morals, I guess?
Just
be chill.
Yeah, don't be a dick, pretty much. Like, I don't know. I get there. There's a lot of... As I grow up and I'm more out in the world and experience more and more people, a lot of people are really dumb, not to be rude, but that's just how it seems. And, like...
So I don't just feel that way.
Yeah, no. It's weird to me that, like, sometimes, like, at work, people say something and I'm like, you really thought that was okay in a public setting?
Yeah.
I get where just at work, but it's like... That's your character, your soul. Like, people are just, it's literally what you were raised around, what you were just fed your whole life. So amounts to the person you become, I feel like, and what you take in and what you think is important. And it's honestly, I just feel like luck, really. It's just whatever sticks with you.
Yeah.
So I had this debate not too long ago with the homie. We're actually having him on next week. We were talking about religion and shit, and I guess. Do you think there's value in religion? Obviously, like, you're not insulting anybody by saying.
Not that you value religion, but is there
an inherent value for society?
I think okay, like religion for what it's actually for is like to be like a set of morals and stuff. Like, I think the people that think, I don't think like heaven and shit is real. You know, I don't think God is real. Obviously, I'm just saying evolution science, but like the morals and like the direction for it, when not taken too insanely and too specifically, they have a good purpose.
See, that's,
but then when people start like trying to make money off of it and like start hating and being a shitty person because of it, that's where I draw the line. But like, obviously, it's in, like, the idea of it. It's good-hearted, like, they mean well, but it doesn't always end up well.
That's what originally led me
It always
towards,
doesn't end up well, usually.
yeah.
That's what led me towards my interest in religion, honestly, is because, you know, if you're not reading it as truth, but instead as such an allegory for, hey, this is good to do and it'll benefit you, or, you know, strive to be better. A common misconception, I feel like, shout out like Moss, you know, that song's not about that, but
it's
anyway,
a banger, though.
Yeah, it's a banger. But I feel like a common misconception people have about religion is like, oh, you got to be good, or like you are good because you believe in God and all this shit.
Yeah.
And, another thing I feel like it's why I've leaned more towards Judaism in my interest in Christianity. despite kind of like the story of Christ, I can get into that a whole other time, but is the idea of Judaism. They don't really talk much about, like, the Torah doesn't talk about the afterlife and all that shit. What it's more so talking about is the here and now. And I like the story of Jesus for that same reason of, you know, he comes from nothing. It's to say you can come from nothing, you can come from wherever. And you can, you can literally go through hell and come back and be the savior of all fucking mankind. The story behind that,
it's just a good story, but yeah, people
it's the
take
same
it to
of Star Wars. Yeah, literally, you can come from nothing, and that is important. But like Judaism or whatever, I think is cool because it's like it doesn't matter where you go when you die. You want to be a good person, and you know, loving and all this shit because you know that's what God wants. But that's
I feel like it's all like.
It's not about where
people
you go.
just
It's
take
not
it
about what
so
you get.
literally. I feel like
feel
that's
like
my problem.
okay.
Like that's what God wants. Like
I feel like
what
it's,
I want.
I feel like it's all like.
I'm a good person. Though.
If you want to call this like.
I try to be.
Like a I don't know what you call it. The material realm, Earth, whatever this plane of existence is. Like, bro, it's all about like. I just set a premise here. It's all about learning. Okay, we gotta learn. Like, in order to do things, you gotta learn. It's all about learning, bro. And like, if you believe in like being good or like not like being bad, basically good and bad, right and wrong, and you would think like, okay, you gotta do as much good as you can and learn as much as possible. So I feel like it's more about like doing these things because that's what it's about, and then like where you end up, like how the realm spits you out. It doesn't depend on like Christianity or Buddhism or atheism or whatever. It doesn't depend on what you know, like your belief system. Those are just like constructed paths in order to get to the frequency to when you check out of this realm, whatever the fuck your consciousness goes to. That's just like a theory.
That's like one of my main problems that I don't like with religion is I feel like people are so focused their whole life on I gotta please God so I am good in the afterlife. Just enjoy the here and now.
Yeah, and do no harm, basically. Yeah. Do no harm to shit.
Don't hate, don't be rude.
Honestly, dude,
and just like enjoy what you have. And
the idea of hell, I feel like kind of contradicts a lot of the Bible because a lot of it is just, you know, as I said, it's your past doesn't matter. You can do better and whatnot, but to be punished, it's, you know, hate the sin, not the sinner. I'm pretty sure that's a quote from Jesus himself. Of like, you know, hate the bad things people do, but not the person themselves, because people can be redeemed.
Like, why are
so the idea that people can all be redeemed of, oh, well, I mean, you fucked up and, you know, you died falling off a cliff or something or getting mauled by wolves back in the day. You're burning in hell for eternity now. That just seems so contradictory.
Yeah.
No offense to people who believe in that, but I feel like that is the biggest thing keeping me away from Christianity.
Like, we talked about that. Like, if this planet is about learning and shit, and then you don't learn the lesson, and then you, like, what, you have to live in hell for eternity, bro? Like, why that's illogical. Like, when is there a chance to learn? Like
yeah, if there is a hell, I would think of it more of how Dante
but they were saying in that Exodus shit, they were kind of debating that, like, about, you know, like
I need to watch the rest of that.
You know, they were saying like the Christian versus Judaism type of view on the afterlife and shit, and it's like should people be able to learn before they die or not? Like, should they be damned to hell because they didn't get to learn, or should they get to learn before they pass on? And it's like, Christians, you know, think that you should get to learn before you pass on, but Judaism is not with that. So, like, I don't know.
Are you familiar with Dante's Paradiso?
You've told me shit about this, but I don't know.
Kike's super into it. I don't know if you...
I don't know anything about any of this stuff.
The Divine Comedy. You know Dante's Inferno, right? It's a Place Where the Sun is Silent is based off of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
Well, it was like a fucking... essentially a poem or whatever the hell written back in the day by a dude named Dante Alighieri about him going through hell and then through purgatory, and then finally to heaven, whatever the hell.
Is that where Kike's fucking last name is from on Facebook?
Yeah, I said that to him.
Okay.
And he was like, fucking, you're the first person to realize that or whatever. And I was meeting you at his crib for some reason or some shit, and I was sitting with him, and he was showing me he's got like 3 different copies of different translations and shit, and he's super into that. But he said he's only ever read Inferno. But Dante's idea of purgatory, I think, would make more sense to Christian belief for if there is a hell of, depending on your sin, you are punished accordingly for a couple thousand years, and then at that point, you can make a right, and then you get to go to heaven, or you don't realize your fault and you continue doing that punishment for longer. I feel like that would make more sense than, right before you died, you accidentally said, oh, God, fuck, and then you died. And then, you used the Lord's name in vain. Permanent damnation.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just...
Bro, I feel like at the end of the day, it might really be like some, like, how Dragon Ball depicts that shit, bro. Like, when you die, you just turn into, like, a fucking blob of whatever. You line up at the thing, and like, whoever judges you, that's, like, your judgment right there. And then, like... I don't know. Like, there's like higher dimensional beings. Like,
I mean,
levels.
That's actually based off of how Dante depicts hell. Of when you go to hell, the first circle. I don't think it's actually considered one of the circles. It's not. You go, and it's limbo. That's what limbo is. Purgatory and limbo are 2 different things. But you go to limbo if you're sentenced to hell. And you wait in line, and then you talk to Karan, whatever the fuck.
Karen?
Yeah, it's Kharon. It's based off of the ferryman. And then he judges you and tells you, oh, well, you were, fucking around, sleeping around. You're going to the first circle of hell. Or, oh, you committed heresy. You're going to this. Chooses your damnation, but, yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's weird that there's, like, all these, like, I don't know. It's just, like, depictions of stuff and, like... all like the, I don't know if you call it programming or whatever that is put out there, but it's like, we don't know what the fuck any of it is, but that is just like what you would think would happen, I guess, like at the end of your trial, your term, whatever happens here on this test run.
What does that matter?
See, that's what I look at it like, this is my thought on death.
It's
you die, done. That's it. Nothing after.
That's one of those things
nothing.
But
I find it interesting to talk about and theorize, but I don't think you should focus on that. And that's, I feel like, from what I've read or heard, transpired from the Bible and from the Torah, is just live your fucking life and try to be the best person you can be.
Yeah.
Hey, who was it that said it? I think it was Rihanna. She said, "So live your life." Hey, look at us. That's she was spitting facts, bro.
The 2000s music was really truthful.
Spoke to me, bro.
Yeah.
Spoke to me. Because I had a debate with dude though, and I was just trying to find common ground to be like, all right, we agree, because he was kind of going at the idea of religion's all bad, and it wouldn't be necessary. But I was trying to explain it as, I look at religion, it doesn't need to be Christianity, it could be Buddhism, it could be Buddhism, it could be Hinduism, whatever, but it's good for a society to kind of have like a treaty, if you will, to be like, okay, we agree this is good and this is bad.
Yep.
And I'm curious your thought on, if we get rid of religion, how do we find that we agree this is good or bad?
I've had this random stone conversation with people where I feel like, okay, people are getting woke now, because I feel like we've hit a certain point with technology where we're just all pretty content. We don't really need a technological advancements really anymore. Mm-hmm. So we've had time to just like slow down and realize what's shitty and what's not. And as time goes on, people are just going to be raised to knowing what's shitty and what's not, and like a lot of all the old thoughts are just going to be phased out as the generations die. And so obviously there's always still going to be shitty people, but
see, that's where I feel like I somewhat agree with what you're saying of we've gotten to a point technologically speaking.
Sometimes I think the woke shit, they're going a little too far, but I see it regressing now.
Yeah, so
almost.
We've gotten to the point of post-scarcity where we're not worrying about where's my next meal. Like, I feel bad there's some people worry about that, but for the most part, modern people in America, we're not worrying about if we're going to be able to eat our next meal, if our crops don't fucking come in, or we're going to make it through the winter type shit. like most of us we have that, so we have time to think about other things, and thus people begin reading the biblical text literally. I think me and Zach talked about on one of our episodes about how it's fucked because like the English language is so literal, whereas like fucking Greek and like fucking Hebrew, there's like, oh, this word can mean this, or this, depending on the context, but it also is very vague. Like
we have a very fucked up type of language where
we have too many words where there's a word for everything. It's too literal.
Yeah, like
there's no ambiguity.
Yeah, and like basically we can only on a surface level describe or like communicate things to each other, where other languages have like a deeper level of complexity to them that you're really not going to find commonly, at least with people here or at all. But it's weird
because it's so culturally influenced. So that's another reason why, translations of the Bible are all so different.
In other words, we got a dumbass language.
We really do.
It's just what it is.
But
it help. I mean, it's like the most popular growing language, but fuck it, I don't know, bro. Like,
but
it's probably why.
What I was going to say to your point was, because we've had all this time to think, people are starting to, because of our literal ass language, like, oh, the Bible, all this shit's not real, whatever the fuck. So then they start, thinking, okay, well, what do I value as good and bad? But everybody, they value what's good and what's bad very differently from each other. Sometimes it's less so. But I think the Bible served a good purpose in having it in writing because, oh, I disagree with that. You could better so articulate and make it known that you disagree with a certain thing to... We need some kind of, in writing, this is what is agreed on societally.
I learned most of my morals from the music I like, because I'm a whole music person, that's all I ever said.
The gospel.
And I feel like that's where I learned shit. And now all the songs are about eating booty like groceries. Well, that's like 10 years old at this point. But, the popular... It was always... The popular stuff, though, has always kind of been about shit. Like, the old songs are just as bad. But it's just
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
I don't know. You just need to set a good message for yourself. It really all comes up to luck in your surroundings. And I don't think there's ever going to be a universal everyone's good. Or
no, that's I feel like a misconception. The Bible doesn't teach that. And that's one thing, too, of, you are imperfect. You will never be perfect. Only God is. So accept that and just try to be good.
So that's where I come in with my whole don't care about any of that. I'm my own self. I enjoy myself. I'm not trying to please anyone else. I don't live for, I'm trying to please Courtney and my baby on the way,
what about the idea,
my loved ones
and shit. What about the idea,
but
and I would say that, God... If I'm not so religious or nothing, but God would want you to do what you just described too. Because in my head, you could just put another O in there. That's what you're serving.
Good.
Yes, whatever's good. That's literally what it is, bro. And
but it's
But what is that? You have to have good.
Because you were talking about how
whatever you
modern
set
music's
for
about
yourself,
modern music, all this self-pleasing shit. I think that's bad. I think that's bad for your future. It's good for that instant gratification, but long term, it's good
for fun.
Yeah, but it's not good
fun.
For your future. You talking about well, you want to be in a band. You want to. I assume you want to make some kind of money off that, but you also, I know you're trying to start businesses. You're trying to do shit like that. You're trying to support your family, all that. That is essentially what the Bible teaches, but it's nice to if you are struggling to kind of have that, this is what's good. If you don't know,
if you don't know,
I don't think you necessarily need a Bible.
I don't think so.
I think it's up to you, raises you really to just raise you right. It's your responsibility.
Yeah,
but you don't know how to necessarily raise somebody without having a moral, boundary established.
I do to my standards, and I just don't care. I just don't concern myself with the way whoever else. I might make fun of them, but, whatever. I'm going to do what I'm going to do still. Doesn't bother me. Keep living your own way. When people say, I say in the past, I want to move to Florida. Oh, everybody's crazy. I don't give a shit what anybody else is doing there, bro. I'm going to keep pushing my own way. Whether religion, the way I live, I don't know. I just don't care. It's not too deep of a thought. Obviously, I understand what you guys are saying. I'm not just like brain dead right now, but like.
Well, see, because there is people, like us, and I don't think it's a bad thing to not care and to be a bit more surface level. If anything, I kind of envy it to some extent. But there is some people who want deeper answers, and I talked about this with Noah about
there is no
the book of
answers.
Genesis.
It's always going to be speculation, and that's why I don't sit here waiting for an answer.
See, it's like a wise man knows he knows nothing, like type of shit. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like okay, our cousin Cody, he's like a flat earther now out of nowhere, and he's been like every time I talk to him, he's all hyped on that. He's got a TikTok. But why do you give a shit?
Like this is
why do you care? He's got 4 kids. Like
in the last year, he got into it.
Yeah, out of nowhere, he started sharing about it. I commented on it, like, bro, are you serious? And he got all like mad and was like, you're gonna think I'm crazy. Yeah, you sound absolutely psychotic, even if it is, which I know it's not, because I'm not a fucking.
We shouldn't like argue about shit.
But we shouldn't argue about it. You shouldn't even waste your he's literally got 4 kids, bro. Waste your time like taking them to Chuck E. Cheese or some shit. Fuck you talking about flat Earth for?
Yeah.
And why do you care about that?
That's why, again, I like the idea of the Torah more than the Bible. Who gives a fuck what happens after you die? It doesn't fucking matter. It's not affecting you. Be a good person now. That is what fucking matters. Treat others how you want to be treated. Another good thing about that is, I heard that repeated ad nauseum.
The golden rule, bro. You live in kindergarten.
Yeah, okay, but treat others how you want to be treated. But, I don't know, I always push that off and would instead go with, I think it's actually from the Satanic Bible or some wicked shit of, fucking do unto others as they do unto you. But
that's a banger from original MSI when it was just Jimmy Urin, bro. Do unto others. He's got a song. Yeah,
I didn't even know that. But fucking treat others how you want to be treated. Well, ask yourself, how do you deserve to be treated? And how you kind of said, like, I don't want people like, oh, you need to believe this. You need to do no, fuck that.
Yeah.
Be good. Treat me with respect.
I do the satanic one. I fall into that one a lot, but it's like, because it's hard.
I've looked at that when I was like an edgy teenager.
Yeah, that's
and I feel like my views
remember.
Do align more with that, but I'm not going to be, I'm a Satanist. But like, I do feel like a lot of their views that I've read, like, make more sense the way I do think already.
So my thought with it...
But that just seems a little too edgy for me.
My thought with it going further, a common misconception, Satanists don't worship Satan.
No,
that's huge misconception. Satanism is the worship of self.
Yeah.
Which I think is a negative for society, because if I'm only looking out for myself, I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
I think that's
why.
Bad. That's why I think, the morals of Christianity of, accepting there is somebody better than you, it makes it so you can better relate to. We are equal.
I feel like it really all comes down to like the rules in kindergarten, bro. Like,
I know, right?
Treat the way you want to be treated. Don't be mean. Like, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it.
Stand in line.
Yeah.
But like that's like metaphoric.
Yeah.
Because it's like just like fall in line, like how you're supposed to.
And then people get when like the fall in line. The government's trying to rule me, this and that. If there wasn't a government,
they are ruling.
One of my cousin's arguments with the flat Earth thing is like, all the money going to NASA. If it wasn't there, you wouldn't have to work. But if we didn't have to work, there wouldn't be a society, bro. I couldn't have just gone up to McDonald's and got a burger. I couldn't do this and that. And I enjoy the life I have. I don't care if I have people have to work to maintain
rebut that to Cody, dude. NASA wouldn't be getting all this tax money if we weren't working to pay taxes to give them that fucking money. So
I just don't even see. I did get into it with him a little bit on that. That was something I put a little deeper thought into, because I was like, bro, you're just dumb. But I love the dude. So
but check it out. I got into it with people at my fucking family function I was telling you I was at, because like they were arguing about like the recent alien developments and shit that have been coming out.
I just watched some shit about that today. How it's all fake, like the skeletons, like its leg was like a femur and like a different bone, and their skull was like a llama skull turned around, bro. That's literally...
I saw one video on X, bro, and I fucking shared it. It was like, my mommy was very proud of my paper mache project, because it literally just looked like some shit I made paper mache in 4th grade. But where's your fucking cup thing, bro? It looked like that.
It's downstairs. Yeah.
I got into it with like it wasn't there, because they were like, what are you, a flat earther and shit, after I was making the claims that or it's not a claim, it's a statement, like we don't know if the projected, meaning, like, because we cannot go verify it for ourselves, we can order whatever telescope we want and look up at the watery looking sky, bro. Like, we don't know what the fuck is out there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
We
The
can't
people
go
that like
up there.
stress about stuff like that though, like the government's got ulterior motives. They're lying to us. Obviously, they're keeping some shit from us.
Yeah,
They're lying to
that's
us.
what they do.
But I don't think the government's like the Empire from Star Wars. And even if they are,
bro, I think
I
they
don't
are.
care, bro.
Yeah, I think
Like-
they are, and I think that like it is what it is. Like,
I
Yeah.
think
so we're at the same fucking point.
I'm just gonna chill and keep living my life the way I do.
Yeah,
And,
I
like
think that's
obviously
negative.
something will maybe happen eventually and it'll suck, but
yeah,
oh well.
yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
see, that's
It-
going
it-
back to.
It'll have to happen.
That's why I feel like Satanism's a bad thing of worship of self. I feel like the government is like that, where people are going to take power and they're going to want more power eventually,
Mm-hmm.
which will eventually mean dictating what you can do. Or say, look at Canada, you can't misgender somebody or you will be arrested, and shit like that.
Bro, they're sending JP back to fucking like college and
Yeah,
shit.
I know. I saw that. He's
Because
got to attend some bullshit because
He
some
like he can't teach correctly.
diversity training
Yeah.
course, some bullshit. Yeah, but
You gotta go relearn how to be a teacher. Like, what the fuck
By
kind
their
of
standard.
communism is this, bro?
But see, like that's like, okay, the government should not have power, as in they should be the referee. They should be like,
Yeah.
don't kill each other, don't fucking steal from another. But that's it. They shouldn't be like,
They have to institute.
maybe I'm more
don't know.
libertarian in that
That's-
perspective. If you want to go fucking
They gotta
shoot
institute
heroin, you can do that. If you want
bro.
to fucking smoke weed, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
That's not what the government's supposed to do. But then they start pushing that power, and that's where it's a problem.
It's all tricky too because like
It doesn't matter to you until it does, and that's the
This
problem.
doesn't, but I
like
don't
people
give a
always
fuck.
say. I thought about this the other day. It's like kind of fucked up. Like it maybe is a dumb thought too, but like the government. People always think the government is the people, but the government is a small group of people that are supposed to represent the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
They're not
so-
the people. Like they're not the people. They don't like. I'm not voting. They don't represent me, but they do because that's like. If
That's why it's
I want
important to vote.
representation, that's who I have to go with, type shit. So it's like, it's weird, bro. It's I don't know. It's just a tricky fucking thing. Like they're not the people, but they are the people. But they just are like a certain group of people with special interests that happen to represent all the people collectively. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to none of that
But,
stuff.
but that's
I couldn't
don't
tell you
either.
who's the mayor.
I
I
don't
couldn't
either.
tell you like
Yeah.
who's the
But that's
the
what
governor.
I'm saying.
No,
It's
I do
like-
know the governor. That's a lie. I know the governor, but I don't know who's like the mayor of Milwaukee.
It's the idea
Yeah.
that we don't give a fuck because we don't feel like what they don't resonate.
Some motherfuckers
with
out
us
here,
and
they're
shit.
paying attention to the aldermen of their district and shit.
Oh yeah, they're up
I
with
don't know
it.
what the hell.
Yeah, or like district comptrollers, whatever. I don't know what the fuck that even
Yeah.
is, but I've heard shit of that.
Because people are all with the idea of like starting small, like you have to do with anything. Of like if you
I
want.
think smaller government should matter more in it. We've gotten to a point where it's like, oh, federal everything's been federalized. That shit shouldn't matter. How the shit was set up is it should just kind of be, your state and your community. Because
Yeah.
what we want here is different than what motherfuckers want in fucking, Texas or Alabama. But
Oh,
then
yeah.
when it
Yeah,
comes
that's
to
almost
violating
that.
certain human rights, that's what the federal government's for.
If
Like,
that
don't
was
be
the
a slave,
case,
but-
then though, then it'd be like that's not the United States.
Yeah.
Yes, we were, because how it worked is we had the federal shit set up of like, don't violate human rights, everyone can free speech, all this shit. But more minute shit should be determined by the community,
like
the
they're
state.
like they're delegated.
Yeah, they're delegate. Like, that's why, despite it still being technically federally illegal, weed, certain states have made it legal because states' law overrules certain federal things as long as it's not an amendment
Which is
to the
weird.
Constitution.
What, yeah,
Bill of Rights.
yeah, exactly. Which seems weird. But
I have like no thoughts on this topic, bro.
why? What do you think?
I just don't care. I literally
Like,
just don't give
you're like,
a
just
fuck
let
about.
people live.
Yeah, literally.
See, that's my thought too, and from
And
what
more.
I've seen is the government is starting to weasel their way into
No, I'm not saying the
Shit.
government though. I just don't know. I don't pay attention to what's going on. I don't pay attention to.
So you'll never turn on the news.
No, never. Don't give a fuck.
Good.
Literally at all.
See, I care.
Wait,
because
I don't care about
So-
the president.
so you're not
shit.
voting?
I'm not voting. No.
Good,
I don't
alright.
know. I'm not voting. I'm not. Gonna,
Anarchy in the USA.
I'm not gonna
bro.
watch any of that shit. I'm not gonna pay attention. I'm at work. They start talking about the election. I'm turning the other way. I'm going into my office. I just.
You're an anarchist.
I'd rather
Even if
go-
You don't think so.
Talk about what my band's doing next, or what we're gonna go do on the weekend, or
See, exactly. That's how it should be. But the problem is they're
the
getting.
problem is there are motherfuckers like you thinking
No,
too deep.
no. The problem is
Who
there's
cares?
motherfuckers who are getting
No, if we don't-
into
if
encroaching
everybody
on your
doesn't
rights.
care, bro,
And what's going to happen is
It ain't
you're not
good.
going to care until you have no choice but to fucking care.
Yeah,
and then
With
that'll
my kids,
happen.
and I don't want that to happen to my
It-
kids.
And then that time will happen.
I don't
And then-
want it to get to that. I'd rather prevent it. So,
I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not fucking Batman out here. I'm not gonna go vote. I don't give a shit.
And that's why it'll lead to that, is because people have that mentality of it doesn't matter, which it shouldn't, but it sadly does in today's society.
It's
And then it'll
like
happen.
it's like
I always say,
certain
here, I'll
shit
compare
don't
it to like a
matter.
way more extreme scenario of how chill I just don't give a fuck. People are always like, get a gun. I don't like guns. I feel uncomfortable around guns. And they're like, well, what if you're in some public place and a gunman comes out? I'm gonna hide, I'm gonna run, or I'm gonna fucking die, dude. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna try to take my own fate into my hands. I just think fucking things happen, bro.
See, my
And,
thought
like,
of fucking
just let life
treat others how you
unfold.
treat others how you wanna be
Obviously,
treated.
try to come up and try to maintain a good and try to keep growing and advancing. But if some random scenario like that happens where the government fucks me over or a person fucks me over, so be it. I mean, what really am I gonna do? Bust out the blicky in a second, pop, pop, bitch. Like, no, I'm gonna be scared as fuck because I know me
Yeah.
and I know how I react in situations, and it's just like,
Which is, you can train. I feel like that's such a defeatist mentality to be like, oh, I know I'm gonna cow.
no, it's
that's-
not a defeatist mentality because, like, the likeliness that it's gonna happen, I'd rather not sit there and dwell on the fact that it might happen. I'd rather
It's not
fucking.
dwelling. It's being prepared. Preparing for the best, or preparing for the worst, or hoping for the best but expecting the worst.
Yeah, I do. But
Which
I
is
just
why
don't
it's
care.
nice to be prepared for things. Care. It's like you know how to avoid a crash if you're steer into the skid. I'm
Well,
sure
yeah,
you know
I'm a good
that.
driver.
It's the same
I care
thing
about
with.
that.
And come back to treat others how you want to be treated. Well, if a shooting happened, I would like if somebody could stand up and fucking protect me and all the rest of these people. But if,
Yeah, someone else might be there.
But as a guy, my girl, eventually, hopefully my wife, my kids, it's like I want someone to protect them. I can't count on everybody else, so I will be
You want
that.
to get one for your crib when you have like your kid and shit? Maybe you'll reconsider it. No,
I don't know.
You don't
I don't
like it?
think so. I
Maybe-
don't like them.
maybe a
I
flare.
feel
a
fucking
flare gun?
uncomfortable around a gun, literally. I don't know why. I always have.
Yeah, I don't
care if that's like pussy
I'm in
or
the middle.
whatever. I don't fucking like them.
Cause like I want one in the future for sure, but like I'm not anxious to get one by
Yeah.
any means.
I want to get
or
into
nothing,
like
but
gunsmithing. It's something that interests me, but I see it as it's a tool. It's same as a pen. It's a thing that has a fucking purpose, and that's all it is. The idea of
Yeah.
it being scary or whatever it's the same as a hammer. You could fucking bludgeon somebody with a
Okay,
hammer way
but-
more brutal.
But if you're carrying it around in public, there's just a heightened risk that doesn't necessarily. I mean, it can pose itself.
I think
That's why I'm getting a concealed carry.
I'm not against guns or like getting rid of them. I don't like them, but I think probably one of the worst inventions of all time. One of
Well,
the shittiest things to happen.
you know what's made by
That's
the
weird.
Chinese people, bro? The Chinese made firearms.
Oh yeah.
Way
the,
back.
the Mongols, bro.
Yeah.
Like I guess
crazy.
it helps with like hunting and shit, but like overall, I think. I don't know.
There's plenty of debate there.
The thing isn't
Which-
bad or good, but like,
See, that's a lot more, whether it was the worst thing created. I mean, you could definitely
Because there's
argue
obviously
the
still be
nuke
shitty
and
people and
things. Yeah.
But would the nuke have ever even been made had they not made the gun first? It's like the chicken come before the egg type shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they would have needed the nuke because the war wouldn't
But
happen
regardless, you know,
unless motherfuckers were fighting with swords or some shit.
regardless, bows and arrows always invented. People are always going to be like, how can we make this arrow go faster and make it easier so I shoot multiple arrows? It's always going to come around one way or another, and it's here. So I think the best way to go about it is to own one, be familiar with it, so that if something happens, you know how to operate shit, you know what it does, and so that if you have to fucking use it, you are prepared to. But
there's absolutely no way ever that I would feel comfortable walking around with that shit on me. No way ever.
Why is that?
Like because
do you feel like
somebody
you're paying
can come
yourself a
up and take
target,
it.
I just don't. I don't know. Just being around them in general, I feel like an at.
Do you feel like you were programmed from an
I
early
feel like a
age to associate
dangerous
danger
presence.
with that?
Yes. Like I feel like danger's lurking around the corner.
Like it's your programming.
Like you ever get like an
fun.
impulse when you're like a little kid to like just jump out the car door when you're driving or some shit? That's how I feel around a gun. Like someone's gonna get the impulse to just like shoot it or it's just gonna go off. Or like
Which is
I'm
why
always thinking about it.
Which is why if you're a gun owner, you need to practice.
Like even when you had it and you were at Jesse's house, bro, and I was just like making fun of you because I'm just like I'm on edge about it the whole time.
I'm waiting for my shit to come in the mail so I can conceal it because of that. But
okay, I don't like how if I know I'm around people or somebody carrying guns, bro, I don't like the idea that my life and the people around me's lives are like contingent on like their screws all being intact.
Yeah.
And it's like the remover of life could be that easy for them, right?
See, that's why I think it's important for, say, everybody to have a gun because, wow, you know.
Because
see, listen.
You can't rely on that. You can't rely on that.
Listen.
Wow.
Okay, but let me explain.
We're taking it
Because
back, bro.
if, you know, somebody's carrying a gun, and only that one person's carrying a gun, and they happen to not have all their screws in the right place, and nobody else in this huge mall has a gun, well then they can just take a bunch of innocent lives. But if everybody has a gun, they pull this out and it's like, you should not be pulling this shit out here. They get a gun drawn on them, put your thing away, they start shooting, they're getting put down before more lives are taken. And I think that's a better scenario than a bunch of innocent people die.
Dan is saying that he's not willing to be the hero.
I feel like a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
I don't
know if
I would love to say
I don't think
that I'm gonna be the badass and I'm gonna whip out my fucking gun and save the day. But I'm just more self-aware than that. I'm chicken, bro. I'm easily fucking scared. I'm jumpy as fuck. And I know that shit happens, bro. I'm dipping. When I was a kid with my friends, bro, a cop pulled up. I'm fucking 6 blocks away already before anything goes down. And my friends make fun of me. You're a pussy, bro. We didn't even get in trouble. Yeah, but you could have.
Yeah.
I ran.
I was the same way.
Dipped, dog.
I was the same fucking way, but that's why it's like, I want to be prepared for fucking anything. Shit happens, I want to be able to, you know, do shit, but it also shows you're smart, you have awareness of what's going on around you, which a lot of the time, like,
I feel like I'm very aware of what's going on around me. I feel like that's like a problem with people fucking in the world. Nobody's like paying attention to the situation around them half the time.
Which, like, a lot of crimes are stopped with guns without a bullet even being fired. You know, if somebody tries to mug you with a knife, you pull a gun, you don't need a fire.
Yeah.
It's like, just having that deterrent. And as I've said, you know, I feel a different sort of sense to have it as a man, because if something happens, I want to protect, you know, my girl. And furthermore...
Start rapping this.
Yeah, probably.
Help her, speaking of my girl.
Okay. Furthermore, though, just, you know, I want my girl to have it if she's not with me, because women are naturally not as strong as men, and it's, you know, scientifically speaking, I don't want to hear, no, we're not. There is differences, and I think it's better to embrace those differences. But, like, you know, rather to have it and not need it, be aware of how it works and all that shit, because you never know what might fucking happen, and it's good to be prepared to have a skill rather than to not have skill. It's good to know how to build a fucking desk instead of having to fucking pay somebody for it.
I'll build a desk.
How do you feel about airplanes? Do you like flying?
Yeah, flying.
Okay, so
Should civilians own nukes?
the logic isn't consistent.
No.
I think so, but that's a whole other debate.
What?
It's a whole other debate of how
smoking rocks, dog.
Hey, we get into the Second Amendment and how it was written and how it's been implemented throughout all of history. But that's
Who
a whole
raised
different...
you,
What-
bro?
what
We
about-
have vastly different beliefs.
Wait, would
Dad
you?
has war against anyone.
Would you ask?
Do you think civilians should own nukes?
What about
Should be able to
bazooka?
own nukes.
A bazooka.
No. Why
Damn.
the fuck would a civilian need
Do you
to
think civilians
own
should be
that?
able to own a cannon?
Haha.
No.
You legally can, and you always have been able to. You can order without a background
Why
check.
do you need that? Why do you want that?
You don't need it, but you have the right to own. That's what I'm saying. You don't need it, but you have the right to. That's the difference.
Basically a flex.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Many Parallels Podcast. Make sure to like if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe for more shit just like this, and share with anyone you think might like it. We upload brand new videos every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And if you want to support us more directly, you can check out our Patreon. Links down below in the comments. And it's only $2 a month. You get an hour more of content each week. This week excluded, but elsewise. You can also access the entire back catalog. Thanks for checking us out. We hope to see you next week. Bye.